General and Senator, members of Parliament from both Korea and from Canada, and my fellow City Councillor Dr. Raymond Cho, and I heard other City Councillors announce, Councillor Chin Lee, and most important of all, Canadian veterans. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to begin by welcoming you to City Hall. This is the heart of our civic democracy here in Toronto, and there is no more fitting place where we can pay tribute to and mark this important anniversary, but most importantly pay tribute to those who are here with us who served, and to those who are not able to be here with us who served in the Korean War, which began 66 years ago. Sometimes it takes an art exhibit because not all of us have the memories, good and bad, that our distinguished veterans have, and a lot of us, I was born in, I think, the year the Korean War ended, and so you don't have any historical context within which to view these things, and these kinds of art exhibits are very important, especially for people, say, my age and younger, to understand that there was a conflict that was about fighting for the values and the way of life that we still hold dear and still believe in and still fight for. And to understand as well, even more importantly, the sacrifices that Canadians made, along with others, in order to have peace abroad and to make sure we maintain peace here at home. And so today we remember the lives lost in the Korean War, the 516 brave Canadian soldiers killed during the war. And we recall as well and thank with gratitude the 25,000 heroic Canadian soldiers who were deployed to fight for the democratic values that we championed here at home, did at that time, still do, and always will. What I think is really remarkable, and again, it's hard to put this into perspective when you weren't aware of these kinds of events and what was going on at the time, but certainly from what I know of history, what is truly remarkable is that following the heartache of this war, South Korea has fought so hard and so successfully and so well to rebuild a strong nation that welcomes democratic principles and that have shown that they were worth fighting for because we were able to preserve the opportunity to have those democratic values in that country, and what they've done with that way of life by way of a success, an example of success that can be admired around the world. And without getting too much into it here, I think we can still see in very close proximity to that very successful, very democratic country today, a country right close by, right adjacent to it, that absolutely rejects as much as anybody possibly could those very same values, and we can see where that has put them. And I think mentioning the country next door is a reminder to all of us that South Korea today, as successful as it is, still faces threats. But it has overcome the destruction of war and has become one of the world's most economically advanced countries, one that we sought out a free trade agreement with because we, as also one of the most economically advanced countries in the world, wanted to do more and better business with South Korea. As we reflect on this history, I think there's one theme in particular that stands out, and that is the resilience of the Korean people, something that is worthy of celebration. It's worthy of celebration there in Korea, but it's also worthy of celebration here. Because that same resilience, that same strength of character, that same entrepreneurial spirit, that same dedication to hard work and to family and to faith has served us so well in building our own country. We remind ourselves, I think, every day because we are reminded by the presence in our midst, thank goodness, of people from all over the world who've chosen to make Canada home. 51% of the people who live in this city were born outside of the country. This city and this country have literally been built. The prosperity we enjoy, the values that have been reinforced by people who came here by choice, who made their life here, but also have helped to make our lives here, those who were here before, to build a great city and to build a great country. This city is founded upon and has been successful because of its diversity. We've learned from each other, we've gained from each other, we have embraced each other, and instead of worrying as other places in the world they do about our differences and trying to highlight and polarize those differences, we've said no. We have found a different way here. We found another way here that is going to take the best we can get from people who come from all over the world and build a great city and a great country. And that is why policies and acts and speeches, for that matter, although people are free to speak as they wish, but I don't think people look very fondly on those who go around and try to divide. And so I'm very proud to be a mayor of a city which lives by not only the motto, but by the set of values that goes with diversity being our strength, and that says that it is the combination of all the cultures and faiths and all the different people who come to Toronto, including those who come from Korea and including those who left here to go and fight for democratic values in Korea that makes us the great country that we are. And so I think we have to make sure that the one thing we don't forget in the midst of patting ourselves on the back, because there's some things to pat ourselves on the back about, there's still a lot of work to be done, but one thing we must never forget, and that's what today is all about, is the role that we play, the history that we have in strengthening democratic values and peace abroad. Because by so doing, we have allowed other people to live in the kind of democratic environment in which we're privileged to live, but we've also made sure we protect those very same values here at home. And so I want to just say one last time that I certainly, as the mayor of the city and on behalf of all the members of the City Council and the people of the City of Toronto, remember with thanks and with gratitude, remember always the lives of the lost in the Korean War, and remember the service given by those who were still fortunate enough to have here with us today, who served our country, who served the cause of democracy, and who served selflessly and deserve our commendation and our thanks for that. And I want to just say again how much I recognize how lucky we are to live in the city and in the province and the country that I think are the most fortunate in the world. They're the most fortunate in the world because of the sacrifices and the efforts made by people like this, and because we've been so enriched by people who've come from many countries, but not the least of which is Korea, and all that they've added to our well-being here. And I will commit myself to making sure we maintain and build upon that friendship in the years to come to the extent I can do so from my position as the mayor of the city. So thank you again for your service. Thank you again for being here today, and please enjoy the art exhibit and enjoy being in your City Hall. Thanks very much.
Thank you. We'd like to invite